Marian, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
La Sesión, which means in English the session. And basically here we talk about social media, marketing. And when I saw your profile, I was like, oh wow, she definitely knows about social media marketing, personal brand. But for those that they don't know about your brand, tell them a little bit about your story, how did you start and all that.
Sure, I can give you a little background.
Perfect.
I have a degree in business.
Okay.
I have my MBA, and once I graduated, I got a job at a corporation. Great job.
Okay.
But I was so unhappy, to say the least.
Okay.
It was the wrong fit for me. Nothing against corporations or those type of jobs. It's just not for me.
What was it? Well, it was like you're very creative and
Yes, I need to be able to create, and I didn't have that opportunity.
Got it.
And I like people. I like to be around people. I'm very bubbly, social butterfly. So being, in a little cubicle all day long, it was just the wrong fit for me. So I was
Got
very
it.
unhappy.
Got it.
And I was trying to figure out what I can do with my life, and fashion has always been a big part of my life. And I knew I wanted something in fashion, but I wasn't sure what I wanted.
I was just gonna ask you. You started blogging, right?
Right, yes.
Okay.
6 years ago, I started blogging. Back then, when we had blogging and bloggers, remember?
Right.
And before that, we had forums. So I used to read a lot of fashion forums, and then when blogging became a thing, that's when I started.
You love to write, or you prefer cameras, or even audio?
I prefer cameras.
Cameras.
Yes,
Okay. It's just
yes.
back then it wasn't like YouTube was kind of like there, but
It was kind of there. It wasn't the same thing as it is today. Instagram wasn't the same as it is today. And people actually wanted to read. They don't want to read anymore. That's the funny thing is you could spend so much time write a blog post, but people don't really want to read. They don't want to spend so much time. They want to get to the point really fast.
do you enjoy writing?
I do like writing. I think what I enjoy most is creating. Coming up with a creative vision is the best part of my job.
A platform that has been huge for you is Instagram.
Correct.
So when you saw that opportunity on Instagram, it was because you were like, as an entrepreneur and creative, you were like, oh, I see this platform is gonna grow. Let me use this platform to communicate my message about my brand and everything I do. Or was more because you just enjoyed taking pictures? It was more like a business decision, or it was more like a creative decision?
Sure. So when I first started, first was my blog, and then Instagram followed. And with both at the beginning, it was just a personal thing. I
Okay.
did it because it was an outlet for me. It was a way for me to be creative. It was a way for me to talk to the world.
Got it.
And I didn't have any expectations when I started it. So if you had asked me 6 years ago if I would be where I am today, I would just not even stay in my wildest dreams.
It's so crazy that you just mentioned like 6 years ago, because some people maybe think like, oh, Instagram influencers, they just post a picture and now they have a lot of followers. But definitely it's not like that.
No, it's definitely not like that. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of compromising. It's a lot of sacrificing, because it requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of effort. When you first start, most people don't have enough resources to hire help.
Right.
So you are doing everything. You're creating, the vision board. You are directing a shoot. You're editing. You're doing everything from start to finish.
Right. And sorry, but to your point, how many times a day you started posting on Instagram versus probably on Facebook or LinkedIn? I saw that you're in different platforms.
Yes.
So definitely it's very time consuming.
Absolutely, yes.
So how you manage your time in terms of all these social media platforms?
One, I do have a team that helps me.
Got it.
I have a manager now, but when I first started, I didn't. So it was all me. And my tip is to be organized. It's the it's key. Every Sunday, I usually plan my week ahead. And
Every Sunday?
For the
Okay.
following week. And every night, I plan and schedule everything for the next day because there's always last minute changes.
Right.
So every hour of my day is pre-planned.
So, for example, on Sundays, you do the planning, like the content planning on, like, for example, your schedule where you're gonna post and.
Yes, I do content planning. Of course, everything is obviously, pre-planned, but also I schedule my day as well. There are meetings, there are events to go to. Sometimes I'm traveling. So you need to incorporate all of that. I need time to actually, create and, be out there and shoot the photos and shoot the video. So this all takes time, and I really need to, and I think I do a very good job.
Yeah,
and I
you
think
definitely do.
Being organized is very helpful in this field, because otherwise you can get easily overwhelmed,
Right.
and you don't get anything done.
Now, that's from the creative aspect. From the business aspect, you mentioned that now you have a team. How do you balance that, like, creative, let's take a picture and all that, with now I'm making a business decision of what product I'm gonna promote on my Instagram and all that? How do you decide? First, I guess the question is time management, how you balance creative with business, and then second to that, like, how you decide which brand you're gonna work with.
Sure. So with time management, again, it goes back to being organized and really like pre-planning everything, because especially in this world, everything is instant. Things change within a minute. And you need to be very good at making last minute decisions. I mean, I could have a campaign and I've planned the whole thing and I've pre-planned the whole thing, and last minute they can come back and change their mind. And it happens all the time. So you need to be able to make decisions right on the spot and trust the decision you're making. And then once it's done, just let it go and stop stressing, although it's very hard. And then as far as the brands I work with, I stay true to who I am and to what Glam and Posh is. My brand is very defined, and anything that doesn't mesh well with Glam and Posh, I do turn them down. It's happened quite often.
Okay.
And it's hard sometimes
It's a
because
business
it's a
decision.
business decision and they offer you, good compensation. So it's hard to say no, but at the same time, I need to protect Glam and Posh for the long run. And the people who follow me, they follow me for a reason, because they trust my vision, because they like my vision. And if I say yes to everything, that vision goes away.
I know that Instagram is huge for you, but there's any other platform that you're like focusing on? Maybe, I don't know. I know that YouTube is there,
Yes.
LinkedIn or Facebook. I don't know which one you're.
I use
like,
YouTube. I actually started beginning of this year, so it's
Okay.
still kind of new.
Got it.
But I actually love it because I do a lot of tutorials, and it gives me that opportunity to actually look into a camera and talk to my audience and explain.
Got it. Got it. And how you feel about, for example, LinkedIn now? Because that's like a business platform,
Right.
basically. And you obviously have that balance between business and creative. So are you spending a little bit of time on LinkedIn, or how you feel about that?
Not that much. It's a great platform to connect and to network with people in the industry. But as far as creating and showing my work on LinkedIn, I don't really use it for that reason.
How many times, if you could say, how many times do you post on a daily basis?
I post every single day,
Yeah.
at least once a day.
Okay.
And if I have like a special event, if I have a special campaign, or if I'm traveling, I may post more than once. It could
Okay.
be 2, max 3. I don't want to flood everyone's feed with my post, but it could be from 1 to 3.
Do you feel like you have work-life balance? Or you're like, because you're doing business, you're doing creative, and sometimes it's hard to even measure that you're working when you're having fun.
Let me answer that question in 2 parts.
Okay.
I believe I work 90% of the time, but I love what I do.
That's
so
the
it
key.
doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
I work every day, every single day. I don't have nights, I don't have weekends. I don't really have time off. It never turns off. It's not like an office job 8 to 5 and you're done. It goes on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. but I love it. I'm very passionate about what I do, so it really doesn't feel like work.
Do you have any favorite hashtag that you follow more than others, or you have your own hashtag?
I don't have a favorite hashtag that I follow, but I have my own that I created recently. Glam Venture, glamorous and adventure together, Glam Venture.
Nice.
So I use it for my travel photos and my travel content in general. So it's a way to kind of help my audience, I guess, organize everything. So if they're looking just for travel info or information, that way it's easy for them to find that kind of content.
What type of hobby do you have that might surprise your audience that they didn't know?
That they didn't know. Let's see. I like to do a lot of dangerous.
Dangerous what?
No, let me elaborate.
I'm like.
I like to go for paragliding. I
Okay.
like to do flying trapeze. That
So you like
kind
to
of
take risks?
activity. Yes.
You're a risk taker.
absolutely. Yes. It might scare me, but I love doing it. That rush is just very exciting.
Talking about risk, it was difficult for you to post that first picture of you and put yourself out there in the digital world?
The very first photo wasn't hard because when I did it, like I said, I had no expectation and it was just something I wanted to do. It was fun. When it turned into a business, it became a little bit more, I guess, difficult in a sense that as great as social media is, it also is a platform for a lot of people to be negative.
I get it.
And that's something that I have to deal with daily, and I've learned how to deal with it now, but for some time it was hard.
What are your future projects now?
Future projects, I want to incorporate more traveling into what I do, definitely that. And then ultimately my goal is to collaborate with a brand I have in mind, but I don't want to say their name.
Okay.
And
You have it on your vision board.
Yes, I have it on my vision board.
Perfect.
And I'll be back next year talking about it.
Oh,
hopefully.
here we go.
And create my own line.
Perfect. Well, Miriam, thank you so much for being with us here in La Sesión. Any tip or any type of maybe last comment that you want to bring to the audience? Maybe
Sure.
about entrepreneurship or something.
What I like to say is if you want to be an influencer, if you think this is for you, get ready to work hard. This is not an easy job. It requires a lot of hard work. So if you're ready, do it.
You know how I compare sometimes? Like, like actors,
Mhm.
that they're like going to auditions and auditions and auditions and auditions. They can be like 2 years, 3
Mhm.
years, and then they get a chance, and
Right.
now they're like in the attention of
Right,
everybody.
right.
And with influencers, sometimes it feels like you're posting and you're posting and you're posting, and then sometimes there's one video that gets more attention than others, and blah blah blah.
Right, yeah. But if you put hard work into it, I can guarantee that you'll be successful.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Muchas gracias, mi gente, por su atención, y nos vemos en el próximo episodio de La Sesión.